One of the keys to success in fantasy baseball is knowing when to ride the hot hand. Conversely, knowing when to jump off the bandwagon is important as well. Oftentimes we become enamored with big names, guys who have been stars of the game in the past. If you're as old as I am, you'll remember the pathetic sight of my favorite childhood player, Willie Mays. When he came to the Mets at the end of his career, he was merely a shell of his former self and frankly, had no business being on a major league field. Without his name and reputation, he would have never been given that opportunity. The Mets were enamored with bringing him back to New York to finish his career, and so he suited up, but it was a disaster. Don't make the Willie Mays mistake with players on your fantasy roster. Those of you banking on Roy Halladay pitching like Doc in his prime have purchased fool's gold. Will he have a good outing or two? He might, but don't let that sucker you in. His reduction in velocity has been well chronicled, but one look at his performance on the mound last night should tell you all you need to know. Halladay threw just 59 of his 99 pitches for strikes. This from someone who averaged just over 1 walk per 9 innings during the prime of his career. Lower velocity coupled with not being able to consistently place the ball where you want it is a recipe for disaster. After getting beat up for 5 runs over 3 1/3 innings in his first start, Halladay allowed 7 runs on 6 hits with 3 walks of over 4+ innings yesterday, and the 35-year-old now has an ERA approaching 15. Doc isn't going anywhere, he has a lot of money coming to him, but that doesn't mean you have to pay him to play for you. Then there's the other side of the coin. Highly touted young, unproven players that often entice you based on their hype. Sometimes the hype is justified, sometimes it's not. In the case of Mets starter Matt Harvey, it is, and here's why. The key to young, hard-throwing pitchers is control. Walks almost always do them in, and if they aren't walking guys, they often miss their spots, leaving the ball over the center of the plate to get hammered. Anyone who didn't like Harvey coming into the year thought that his 11 strikeouts per 9 and 1.146 whip over 10 starts last season was a fluke. Well, after 2 starts this season, he's averaging over 12 strikeouts per 9 with a whip of .571. After striking out 10 in his season debut, the right-hander had another 9 last night, allowing just 1 run on 3 hits over 7 innings, walking 2, leaving his ERA at a minuscule .64. Will every outing be that good? No, but Harvey has 14 major league starts in his career, which is about half a season's worth. There's no reason not to believe in Matt Harvey at this point. If anyone is looking to sell his fast start, take advantage of recognizing the signs of stardom, pounce on him now, and thank me later. Staying with pitching, keep an eye out for Rangers starter Alexi Ogando. At 29, he's not a kid anymore, but he's someone who began the season starting out in less than 60% of fantasy leagues, but is pitching like a #1 starter. Ogando was an all-star starting pitcher for the Rangers in 2011 and moved off the radar of many when he was moved to the Texas bullpen. He's now 2-0 to start the season with back-to-back excellent efforts, tossing 11 2/3 innings, sporting a .77 ERA, allowing just 1 run on 7 hits with 12 strikeouts. Ogando pitches next Saturday in Seattle and is someone you should be targeting for your roster and in daily games as well. Hitting .302, Mets second baseman Daniel Murphy has quietly opened the season with a .692 slugging percentage and 6 RBI. Of his 8 hits, more than half have been for extra bases. With 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and a triple, he's been driving the ball and could be a cheap source of RBI going forward, particularly in daily games. Murphy has a career slugging percentage of .431 and has never gotten off to a hot start before, so this is something that bears watching. On the injury front, Blue Jays outfielder Jose Bautista will return to the starting lineup for Tuesday's game against Detroit as the designated hitter. Bautista had previously missed the past 3 games after rolling his ankle. A big blow to both the Angels and fantasy owners as Angels pitcher Jered Weaver will miss 4 to 6 weeks with a broken, non-pitching elbow. Weaver left Sunday's start after diving on the elbow while trying to avoid a line drive. As we reported yesterday, initial x-rays revealed an elbow strain. Weaver had more tests Monday evening which showed the issue was more serious. The team has not announced who will replace Weaver in the rotation yet. Indians catcher Carlos Santana escaped potential disaster yesterday after being crossed up on a Chris Perez fastball, taking it flush off the wrist of his glove hand. X-rays were negative, and he's not expected to miss more than a day, if at all. Pirates starter Wandy was forced to leave after just 2 1/3 last night with tightness in his left hamstring. He's off to a good start with an ERA of just 1 so far, but this is the leg he pushes off of, so I wouldn't be so eager to play him in his next start even if he's able to go. He'll be reevaluated later today to see if he'll have to miss his next turn. 9-year-old AJ from Oak Park, Illinois writes, "My dad is a Cubs fan and says that Alex Rios is a bum. Should I trade him? Don't you just love kids?" AJ, thanks for the question. Tell your dad that he's a bum. Rios started the year with a 6-game hitting streak and hit home runs in his last 3 games. If Daddy's team had Rios in right field instead of Nate Scherholz, maybe they wouldn't be waiting 105 years to win a World Series. I noticed that some people were frustrated with Robinson Cano's slow Week 1 start and reserved him this week. Don't do that. If you have an elite player, so long as he's healthy, just leave him in the lineup. His stats will be there in the end. Cano went 2 for 3 with 2 home runs yesterday, and anyone who tried to get cute by sidestepping a small slump just got schooled the hard way. Don't let that happen to you. For RotoExperts, I'm Mike Cardano.